What is on the upside, people? My name is SongForEverything, but you can call me Song, and I am your resident cartoon connoisseur. And today we are looking at another movie, which means this is unscripted, and so I hope that is okay. So if there's anything I need subscriber suggestions on, it's definitely movies. I actually had a really hard time figuring out what movie I wanted to watch. Usually, I would do something that's topical to whatever is going on in the world of animation, but there's nothing major happening this week that I know of, so I didn't know what to do. So instead, I just picked a movie. I was just browsing around, and I decided to watch Captain Underpants today. Because this movie, I did see it in theaters. I saw it in theaters twice. And it's actually, we'll get into that. So I'm just going to go through what I liked, what I didn't like, and if I think I would recommend it to you guys. Spoilers, by the way. Just if you haven't seen the movie and you're worried about Captain Underpants spoilers, I suggest either you don't care and you keep going, or you do care and you go see the movie and then you come back. Easy peasy, I'll wait. So some backstory. I did read Captain Underpants when I was young. The scholastic book fairs would show up at school sometimes, and we would all be whisked into this big room filled with books, and I would always see Captain Underpants there. Usually I would skip to the Flipperama pages, just because those were so much fun to mess around with. And I actually remember owning it was like one of those create your own comic type books. I'll put up a picture if I can find what it is. I haven't seen that thing in years, but I did have that. So I quite enjoyed the books when I was young. So when Dreamworks announced the movie, I was worried because it seems like a movie that would be so stupid and childhood ruining that I was scared for the movie. But I generally trust Dreamworks when they make movies. I actually did not see Boss Baby, but I heard some things about that. But all the other movies I quite enjoy. And so Dreamworks being the one making this made it seem like it might be a little bit better, but I still had some reservations. But I did go see this movie. I've seen this movie 3 times now. I did a third run through just to get this review out. So here are my thoughts. Right off the bat, it looks exactly like the book, and they open on George and Harold doing the DreamWorks theme song, which I thought was cute, and it opens with their comic, the origin issue of Captain Underpants, and the way it is drawn is exactly how I remember the book looking, like exactly. And then when they switch to the 3D animation, it still looks exactly like the book, just happens to be 3D, and there are some parts of it that, like the eyes, especially, you could especially tell when they're wearing glasses, where I don't know if it's hand-drawn. I wouldn't go so far to say it's hand-drawn, but it looks more like it is hand-drawn, more than like a 3D model. So I think that's awesome. And there are some points in the movie, like there's one where Harold's freaking out, oh my god, our friendship's gonna end, and he acts out what's going to happen in the future with sock puppets. And that was just genius. I thought it was great. And they go back and forth from the book drawings to the 3D animation. And it looks good. The movie looks solid. And even before watching the movie in the trailer, that's one of the things that drove me to watch the movie in the first place, is it looked really good. So, the writing is also solid. I am one for meta humor. I loved the Deadpool movie. I like most Spider-Man animated TV series because they go into meta humor a lot, and it's great. If you're going to break the fourth wall, I am all about that. Like, don't go overboard, I guess, but I'm all for it. And there's a lot of that here. There's a lot of that here, because George and Harold speak directly to the audience almost throughout the whole movie. And they do it in a way that's nice. It's not like too much, so I appreciated that. Everything is really funny. They do go into like potty humor, like little kid lowbrow humor, but it's not because it's a kids movie, and that's what gets me. It's annoying and it's cringy, and it always will be, but they do it not because of the age of the audience, but the age of the characters, because these are 4th or 5th graders. I think they're 4th graders. I don't remember anymore, but they're elementary school kids. And so that is their type of humor. And so it's because the characters are that young that they make the fart jokes, the poop jokes, all that usually doesn't land, especially with older people who happen to be watching this, especially because this is our nostalgia. Because that's the thing. This movie doesn't feel like it's for kids more than it feels like it's for the people who read Captain Underpants as kids. There are a lot of references to the books that, unless the kids have gone back and read these books, which I think actually the series is still going, I'm gonna have to check on that, they're not gonna get. For example, there's a part near the end, and this is my favorite part in the whole movie. They go, oh, well, we don't have the budget to animate this epic fight scene, so we're gonna do it in the style of Flip-O-Rama, and they do it in the style of Flip-O-Rama. And like I said, that was my favorite part of the books. I would go straight to the end of the books to mess around with the Flip-O-Rama, or I guess it was in the middle sometimes. And they had, they went deep into it. They did the Flip-O-Rama pages, but then one of the pages ripped. That's a thing that happened very often. Those pages were flimsy. They would rip really easily when you were partaking in the flipping of the ramas. At one point, Harold is like, oh, I want to put dolphins into it. George is like, why do you keep putting dolphins? And they get into a little fight off screen. And Harold stands up and he steps on the pages, and the footprints make the mark of, oh, here's where your thumb's supposed to go, here's where your hand's supposed to go. That was in the books. It made the shape of that mark onto the Flip-O-Rama page, and it was brilliant, and I love that part of the movie. It's great. So I really appreciated those. What I didn't so much appreciate, there are 3 times where they put in little musical numbers, and they are poorly done. Granted, they are poorly done on purpose, and you could tell it's on purpose, not like, oh, the movie just failed. No. The singing voices of George and Harold are not good, and that's on purpose. The way it's done, you can tell, it's just, they're really cringy, and not in a good way. It's just, every time those musical numbers would pop up, I would just like, oh no, I wish I could leave right now. This is just bad. Wasn't a huge fan of that, but it only happened 3 times in the movie, and it's usually done as a comedic effect to move something forward. The voice acting was actually pretty good. It's not the best. The most noticeable is George and Harold as not kids. Kevin Hart is a good voice actor. He really is. And he's really funny, and I love watching his stand-up. And honestly, I think he is perfect for the role. I just don't think his voice is perfect for the role, if that makes sense. He has a very distinct voice, and it does not quite fit a 9 or 10-year-old child, but it also doesn't not fit either. It's a weird balance they have. It works, but it's noticeable. Kristen Shaw, the first time I watched this movie, I didn't recognize her because she's actually doing a different voice than normal this time, which is really rare for Kristen Shaw, I think. Because she also has a very distinct voice, and that's just her normal voice. So when you hear Louise, when you hear Mabel, that's just her voice. So the fact that she was doing a different voice, I didn't recognize her at first. Now that I know who it is, it's very easy to tell, but it was nice. Jordan Peele. Oh my goodness, Jordan Peele as Melvin was phenomenal. It was really good. Ed Helms as Captain Underpants did really good. He had that superhero vibe, but when he was playing Krupp, he had that mean principal vibe that you know from the books. Honestly, it's exactly how I would have imagined his voice, so that was great. It's a good cast, and so that was really refreshing to know that they did well with this movie. Honestly, the movie's good. The other problem I had with it was that it was a little too long. The runtime is only an hour and a half, so it's not even that long. It's just, there's a couple of times where it could have ended. And because they kept going, when they tease the sequel to the movie, it actually feels like it's still gonna keep going. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie. And like I said, I've seen it 3 times, and I do like it. I like it a lot. It's everything I would have wanted this book to be. It's a stupid movie. It's a dumb, stupid movie, but it's because it was a dumb, stupid book that I loved. It's dumb on purpose, and I appreciate that. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought about it. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly, highly recommend you see this movie. please give me some sort of suggestion for other movies I can watch. I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to be next time, but I'm thinking that I'll eventually watch Recess, the Recess movie. But hey, give me a watch list. I'm all for that. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Share with your friends. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. And I'm gonna have a good day today, and I hope you do too. Thanks for watching.